evening. You're watching Left, Right and Centre. I'm Nidhi Razdan. Well, the big story at this hour, Arvind Kejriwal has partially got his way. The government has just blinked in the last few minutes and has agreed to suspend 2 police officials, but not entirely given to the demands that were made by the Delhi Chief Minister, who has now called this a victory for the people of Delhi and has ended his agitation that began yesterday, creating an unprecedented impasse and a stalemate right here in the national capital. Now, the question we're going to ask tonight is whether it was right for the centre to give in to any of his demands at all, whether this was the only way out to end this agitation, and whether this in any way would set a dangerous precedent as far as future governance is concerned. My colleague Sandeep Phukar now joins me for the latest on that breaking story. Sandeep, you in fact reported this earlier today that there was some kind of back channel compromise being worked out, but at the end of the day, when you look at what the government has blinked on and what Mr. Kejriwal demanded, he hasn't entirely got his way.
He hasn't got entirely his way, that's all right. But, you know, the government also kind of met him halfway. Remember, all along, the government has been saying that no question of taking any kind of action until the inquiry report is out. Now, what they've done is that at least in 2 cases, they've asked police officials to go on leave. Remember, to go on leave, and they have not been suspended or transferred as demanded by the Delhi government or the Delhi Chief Minister. The Lieutenant Governor, under whom the Delhi police functions, also said that they will expedite the inquiry that has been set up following, that altercation between the Delhi Law Minister Somnath Bharti and the Delhi police personnel who were manning that area at that point of time. It was an ACP was involved and SHO was involved. So, you know, it's a bit of compromise where both sides have met each other halfway. I think priority for the government was really to clear that area. All of us, Nidhi, we know that we actually quite every day we operate out of that area, you know, Parliament, all Shastri Bhavan, Nirman Bhavan. On 23rd, there would have been a full dress rehearsal. That area is sanitized up till 12 o'clock. And on 25th, usually all offices in that area are vacated. The police sanitizes the area. So, you know, there is no crowd other than police personnel, Delhi police personnel, and also military, the troops who come in to guard their equipment. So, this would have been certainly a security hazard. And keeping in mind, the government was very clear. They did not want to forcibly evict Mr. Kejriwal or his supporters. They did not want to use force. But having said that, we already saw those clashes during the day today. So they wanted to, they did not want this situation to escalate. They wanted to come up with a compromise formula. The compromise formula was that take action against cop who was seen to be, lacking in terms of taking action in the dowry case, the case highlighted by Delhi Minister Rakhi Birla. And in the case of Somnath Bharti, wait for the inquiry report. Expedite the inquiry report, but meanwhile let the policemen go on leave. I mean, you can say it's a play of semantics, it's a play of words, but they have not been suspended or they have not been transferred, they have gone on leave. So the Delhi government meeting UPA halfway, UPA meeting the Delhi government's demands halfway. That's how I would put it. Okay,
let me get Anchal Vora in, our reporter on the ground there at the site of those protests since yesterday. Anchal, it's essentially then being seen actually as a face saver for the Aam Aadmi Party and for Arvind Kejriwal, because just take us through what he had originally demanded. I think it was 4 or 5 police officers that he wanted suspended. That has not happened. Nobody's been suspended, and 2 of them have been sent on paid leave. So while that may be seen as very controversial in some circles, he hasn't entirely got his way either.
Well, exactly, Nidhi. In fact, for about 2 to 3 hours before this decision was taken, the Aam Aadmi Party's tallest leaders were in a huddle. The meeting went on for about 3 hours, and we were hearing that they were very keen on arriving at a compromise as well. In fact, we did report that as well. Arvind Kejriwal and his men did not want to be known as the politicians or as the leaders who would perhaps be responsible for the Republic Day celebrations to not go the way they usually do. That was, of course, their big concern. From the beginning, it was, our sources in Aam Aadmi Party have told us, it was definitely about the ego of the Aam Aadmi Party, or self-respect, so to say, because Arvind Kejriwal, the Chief Minister, his cabinet, how could they just hear no from a few policemen, and their demands could not be met. Right. So at this moment, we did get a confirmation from Manish Sisodia, who clarified to us as he was leaving. He said that it's going to be a paid vacation for these policemen in the Kirki extension case, in the Ugandan lady case, and in the other case, the accused in fact have been arrested. So that, of course, is a compromise formula Arvind Kejriwal and his men agreed to.
All right, thanks very much for that, Anchal and Sandeep Phukan. So this big story now has a new twist this evening with the Delhi Chief Minister just a short while ago addressing the media and that chaos that is there outside Rail Bhavan here in Delhi, and telling everyone that he believed that this was a victory for the people of Delhi and that he was calling off his agitation right this minute.
पहाड़गंज जहाँ पे दानिश महिला का बलात्कार हुआ था, वहाँ के और मालवीय नगर जहाँ पे ड्रग और सेक्स रैकेट पकड़ा गया था, वहाँ के पुलिस अधिकारियों को छुट्टी पे भेजने का निर्णय लिया है। ये आप सब लोगों की बहुत बड़ी जीत है। लेकिन तीसरा मामला जो सागरपुर है, वहाँ पे आज हमें पता चला है कि सागरपुर में जिस लड़की को जलाया गया था उसके दोषियों को पुलिस पकड़ नहीं रही थी, लेकिन अभी 2 दिन पहले पुलिस ने सारे दोषियों को गिरफ्तार कर लिया है। दिल्ली के अंदर कहीं भी किसी भी महिला के ऊपर अगर अत्याचार होगा, हमारी सरकार चुप नहीं बैठेगी, उसके ऊपर आवाज उठाएगी। एलजी साहब की इस अपील के मद्देनजर हम सब लोगों ने मिलकर तय किया है कि आज का ये धरना यहीं पे समाप्त करते हैं।
The Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal announcing the end of his agitation that he is projecting as a victory for him and his party, the Aam Aadmi Party. At the end of the day, the question is though whether the government should have blinked at all, whether on the basis of principle it should have held its own and said no action would be taken against any police official, especially since given the Delhi Law Minister's case in particular and the kind of raid that he was trying to conduct, it was seen by many as outright illegal and completely wrong. So there are many questions and many ramifications of this decision by the centre today to blink, even though they haven't entirely given in to Arvind Kejriwal's demands. We have Delhi's former police commissioner, Mr. Ved Marwa, here in the studio with us. Siddharth Bhatia, well-known commentator and journalist, joins us this evening from Mumbai, and from our political parties this evening, Atishi Marlena is back with us on Left, Right and Centre this evening from the Aam Aadmi Party. Prakash Javadekar, national spokesperson of the BJP, joins us tonight, and Ragini Naik, national spokesperson of the Congress, is with us as well. Mr. Marwa, let me ask you first, as a former police commissioner, sir, do you believe the centre did the right thing today?
Well, I think nobody did the right thing. And the Delhi people are the casualty of this whole situation which has been precipitated in the last couple of days. What message has been sent? That is this sort of thing going to improve the security of women, or is it going to remove gambling or prostitution from Delhi roads? I think somebody should very deeply reflect on what their demands are and where they are making a compromise. What is the compromise? The compromise is that 2 constables will be sent on leave. How will this change the situation at all? They are not dealing with the basic situation. What they were demanding is that they should have the control of the police. Now, what does the control of the police mean? Control, they are demanding the disciplinary control over the police, that they should have power to suspend or dismiss or post. But that is only one part of control. There is another very important part of police control, that is giving police the resources, manpower, giving police the communication equipment, giving police the training facilities, giving police the legislative structure in which they function. Now, all this is not in the hands of the Delhi. This needs money, and the Delhi government doesn't have this. You see, Delhi state.
But sir, on this particular question of what has just happened, do you believe it's fair that these 2 constables have been sent on leave at all?
No, I think it is terrible. It will be counterproductive both from the AAP point of view, and of course it will lead to demoralization amongst the force. Police is a disciplined force. Police is a disciplined force where it follows a command and control system. You can punish a chap by all means, but do it through proper system. You can't hold a dharna and demand, if this anybody holds a dharna and demands suspension or somebody going on leave, it's a terrible thing. Then
okay, so I'll just come back to you. Let me just get the first reactions from Atishi from AAP, who joins us this evening. Atishi, you heard what Mr. Marwa had to say this evening. At the end of the day, if you look at though that the demands your party had made and Mr. Kejriwal has made and what the centre has agreed to, you haven't entirely got your way on this either. It seems to be a face saver.
Actually, Nidhi, we had asked for two things. We had first asked for the fact that the 3 police officers who were involved should be either transferred or suspended so that an independent inquiry can be conducted into whether the police was carrying out the functions it was supposed to or not, number one. Number two, the issue that we raised was that the Delhi police should be accountable to the Delhi government. Yes, you are right, we have not got our second victory, but we have registered the fact that this issue needs to be thought about very seriously if Delhi is to be made a secure place. But I think on the first issue, I would say that the fact that an independent inquiry can be carried out is a victory and should be recognized as such, because the police is right now virtually a law unto itself. The police is not accountable to anyone. The police takes hafta from all the redi patriwalas in the city. The police takes hafta from autowalas. The police harasses rickshawalas. And the police does not play the adequate role it plays in protecting the women, the children and the senior citizens of this city.
There's a big difference between suspending a policeman and there's a big difference between placing a policeman under suspension and sending him or her on leave. And you haven't got the suspension that you were demanding at the end of the day. That's my question.
But Nidhi, let us look at the principle. The principle was that when an inquiry has to happen, that police officer cannot be present since he is sitting right on top of the evidence. So by the virtue of the fact that the policeman has been sent on leave, he is not present in that situation. So it's the principle that matters.
So
it's not the fact that it's one formulation or the other. Nidhi, let me tell you that if we had not taken this stand and we had said that no, we want a suspension, you would have said, oh my goodness, look at the Aam Aadmi Party, how stubborn they are. They don't understand the principle. So let us look at the fact that this situation is about an independent inquiry, and we have agreed to a compromise whereby an independent inquiry can be conducted. But I would like to add one more thing. I would like to add that what our colleague from the Delhi police was saying, the former commissioner, I agree with all the points he's making about much deeper police reforms being needed. We are not just talking about the Delhi police being accountable to the Delhi government just for disciplinary action, but we are also talking about far-reaching police reforms. That is what we want. That is what is on the Aam Aadmi Party's agenda.
Okay, well, at least you're saying, and you have a point, I think if you hadn't agreed to this compromise, we'd all be running down and jumping down your throat saying that you're being stubborn and difficult, so you have a point there. Mr. Prakash Javadekar, what is the BJP's first reaction, sir, then, to the end of this agitation and this deal that has been struck?
This vindicates our stand, which we explained today to the media at various occasions, that here was a joint operation of Congress and Aam Aadmi Party to benefit each other, and that is what that was exposed, and ultimately we are vindicated that here was the government which went complete anarchic and even criticized, threatened 26 January, in the process demeaning the Republic Day, demeaning the constitutional mechanism, demeaning the republic we got, demeaning the armed forces, and therefore it was like a Maoist speaking in jungle, speaking from Delhi. So this is what happens when you have anarchy on the road. See, this compromise could have been involved in one meeting also. Why this all drama? Because Congress cannot fight BJP. Therefore, they want to prop up Aam Aadmi Party. Aam Aadmi's stock was depreciating for last fortnight or a month, and with various incidences happening.
So it was all
therefore,
a grand plan.
They promoted Aam Aadmi Party.
So you believe it was all a grand plan. Ragini Nayak, the message though, as Mr. Marwa was saying, is that a very wrong message has gone out to the police, he believes. It's something that is demoralizing to the force. Mr. Somnath Bharti's raid or attempt to have that raid that night has been widely criticized by many, including women's rights activists who I believe have written a letter as well. I'm just going to pull that out, saying that they completely support the SHO in Malviya Nagar and the stand that he took on this raid. So was it right for the centre to blink in this way on just the issue of principle?
Nidhi, let me begin by making 3 initial and quick points. As far as Mr. Prakash Javadekar comment is concerned, I would like to say that self-glorification, self-proclaimed appreciation on the one hand and baseless allegation on the other seems to be the norm for the BJP. So I am not surprised at what Mr. Prakash Javadekar is alleging tonight. As far as the proclamations of the Aam Aadmi Party and its spokesperson are concerned, let me say that it is very surprising that the Aam Aadmi Party today says that it is the victory of the people. I think the real victory of the people would see the light of the day in Delhi when the 18 promises propagated by the Aam Aadmi Party in their manifesto would be materialized and the promises which they have made would be fulfilled. Now coming to the question that you have asked, I think at this point in time, it is very important to see the timing and the place where the protest was being organized by Mr. Kejriwal and his party. Just adjacent to the parliament, beside the Rajpath, on the verge of Republic Day celebrations. Now, Republic Day is not just a national festival. It in a sense embodies the very spirit and essence of our country. It is also an effort to honor the bravery and courage of the soldiers at the border. And I think that at this instant, when the Aam Aadmi Party and the government was ready to threaten this particular event, this particular celebration, it was very important that somebody acted maturely, somebody acted with prudence, with sagacity. What you are calling as blinking or bungling down, I would call as behaving responsibly. Mr. Arvind Kejriwal has not done that over the last 20 years. I am happy that the centre, the Congress party and the LG took an initiative to get this compromise done and to resolve this situation.
Let me take this
because
quickly
the Aam
back to
Aadmi
Mr.
Party
Javadekar
was
then.
bent
Mr.
on
Javadekar,
subverting
okay, one second,
Ragini,
one second. Mr. Javadekar, doesn't Ragini Nayak have a point? You have a solemn occasion like Republic Day coming up in a few days, and you, sir, were very vocal on the fact about how upset you were with Mr. Kejriwal's comments on disrupting the parade earlier today. And therefore, if there wasn't this compromise worked out and you had a situation where the parade would have been threatened with an agitation, wouldn't that have been much worse? In a sense, has this been the best way out, Mr. Javadekar?
But that is what I am exactly saying, that this could have been sorted, for this formula could have been arrived at in one meeting. There was no necessity of this.
Absolutely.
But
which
both,
is why I would want
as
to
I
know
charged
why the Home
today,
Minister, Mr.
the
Shinde, didn't
script was
suggest
already
it earlier.
written and the exit plan was already drawn up. So it has actually happened that today only I said that the exit plan is drawn up and accordingly the exit plan was worked out. So if you want to still give some credit to government or Aam Aadmi Party, I can't agree to that.
Atishi, your quick response to that this was all a pre-planned and pre-scripted.
I think Prakash Ji has quite a creative imagination, because I think if this is what he thinks, that it was a pre-scripted plan, I'm actually, it goes to show that he actually has no idea about how strongly the people of Delhi feel about the Delhi police, how strongly they feel against the fact that the Delhi police harasses them, doesn't lodge their FIRs. Of course that was the issue, sir. That was exactly the issue that we raised. Why did this protest start? This protest started because the police is not willing to lodge an FIR. Our Minister Rakhi Birla raised this case with the Delhi Police, the Commissioner of Police, even before that girl was burnt by her in-laws. And the Delhi police was not acting. And this is not just one instance. This instance happens every day, day in and day out. So therefore, let us not call it pre-worked out plan, etc. I'm sorry, you might be doing politics like that. This is not our politics.
All right, let me take this to Chetan Bhagat, who joins us again tonight.
Sorry,
Ragini, one sec. Let me just get everyone's first comments in. Chetan, you were very supportive here on a show we did last week, which got great feedback. You were critical of the mainstream national parties, and you said that the AAP was the party that everyone was in love with now. But when you look at the events of the last 48 hours or so, do you agree with the methodology that was adopted by them to get their way?
Well, you know, sometimes when you fall in love too fast, it is followed by heartbreak, Nidhi. And I think that show was more about how the other parties are slow to respond.
Yeah.
But I must say, AAP has really let me down. I feel so let down by their antics. You know, the cost-benefit analysis of this just doesn't add up. You've had 2 people go on leave, but you brought the capital to a standstill. You demoralized the police force. You depress the business sentiment so much, people will think 10 times before setting up a company in Delhi because you don't know when the AAP goons will come, and hey, some resident welfare association uncles got upset about a shop or a bank or something, and these guys will come and stop business because hey, they are on the side of virtue, so you know, no laws matter. And at that expense, they are pilling on an issue, and the fundamental problem here is the police had not done something wrong. The issue started with their law minister, who was trying to do a heroic act with the media presence to cover up his other corruption allegation. It backfired on him. To protect him, the intent behind this is wrong. And the reason, like some others have said, this could have been sorted out in a meeting or whatever. Did we get the policeman's version? Did we see their families, how bullied they were feeling? If they were so virtuous, did we even hear? Do you know who those HOs are? Have we heard a comment from them? We just have to presume that because the AAP says they are wrong. And I think maybe some low uneducated people will like this and they feel this is justice and this is leadership. But I want to tell the educated youth who have listened to me for many years, people you might be helping here will cause you loss of jobs. They will cause India's image to go down, because they are hungry to come to Lok Sabha polls. You know, they want instant attention, and like in Bollywood, when an actress can't make it, she becomes an item girl. They've become the item girls of politics. And those item girls don't go very far. You know, popularity sometimes can come at the expense of credibility, and I am ashamed that you did this. You know, if you are really, you are a political party now, come to center, come to power, and change those laws about the police. If you don't like what the Congress was doing, why are you taking their support?
But Chetan, those are very strong words coming from you.
I'm going to stop.
I'm saying those are very strong words coming from you, because a week ago...
I don't want to work with the Congress anymore.
No,
You're working with the Congress.
I'm saying a week ago
you are making a government with them.
A week ago you were singing the AAP's praises.
And
So someone like you to feel so disillusioned today is really quite remarkable. I mean, you were saying something completely different about the AAP. Yeah.
Because Nidhi, I don't have a party to promote. I have India to promote. I care about my country. I mean, and this is not helping my country. Imagine if the Chief Minister of J&K, there have been army atrocities, genuine atrocities have happened. If the Chief Minister of J&K goes, sits on a dharna in Srinagar and tells everybody, come out in lakhs on Republic Day and let's protest this and let's teach these army guys a lesson, and army people leave the army and join us. Imagine that situation. This is exactly what they have done.